Hey, Charlie McElvy from Zion Studios and Blind Squirrel Comics. And hey, man, I'm here to talk to Cody. And I don't know what we're going to talk about. I guess we'll find out in a minute here, right?
Yeah, we'll talk all about you
Oh,
and the comic books you make.
oh no. I'm such a jackass.
So, how long have you been creating comics?
Dude, it's funny. I actually just told the story to my 13-year-old daughter last week because she started making her own comics. So I wrote my first full comic treatment because I think all of us as comic fans have written our own comics at some, during middle school or whatever, and stuff that never will see the light of day, and you probably even forgot about. But in '97, I wrote a book. Actually, so I'd met Eric Larson through a mutual friend, Andy Smith, a comic artist who I met through another mutual friend. And anyway, long and short of it is I wrote this treatment, and it was supposed to get published by Image because back then Eric Larson was the publisher. Couple of funny things happened. I'll truncate the story because we only got 20 minutes. But Eric stopped being the publisher, and then Eric Stevenson stepped in. So Larson moved up to COO, I think, or Chief Creative Officer or something. I forget what his title was at the time. And then Stevenson comes in, and the whole swoop said, "Hey, if your book's not already on the docket to get published, you got to resubmit." And so while Eric Larson had approved me, I had to resubmit this book, and I only had 5 pages done, completed. I had the whole script done, of course, and it didn't get passed. That's okay because while I was waiting for the non-response that I got, um, Andy got swooped up because this company called CrossGen came out of nowhere down in Orlando area. I think it was Tampa area. And CrossGen took Andy and took Micah TA, who was my colorist and my letterer, and well, I lost my whole freaking art team. So that was '98. I just put that first page. This is why I was talking to my kid about it. I have the first page finished. It's fully lettered, hand lettered, inked, and everything, board. And I was inserting it in my little portfolio of original art. And I said, this is the first comic book page I ever had completed, and it's never been published. And so, anyway, so that's how long. I mean, that's almost 30 years, dude. So you're looking at what? So '98, that's 20, we're almost at 26 years. That I've been doing this. Did take a hiatus. Wrote a book called The Watch Guard back in 2007, and it was my kind of like, I guess you call it my X-Men Avengers, my ensemble team book. Wasn't great, it was just one of those. I tried too much, too fast, in too small a space. So live and learn. People like it, which is great for me, but it's my least favorite book that I've ever written. So we'll revisit that later. Um, that one did get finished, and I wrote a gaming supplement related to that to build my initial audience, and that was kind of a fun little marketing plan that worked out in my favor. I won awards on the gaming side, and then built an audience for the comic side, which then funded the comic. And I've been doing Kickstarter since Kickstarter was like in its infancy. The first Kickstarter I launched, most of my backers were like, "What is this? Like, what's a Kickstarter?" And so, because they're like family and friends at that time, like that's all I had as backers. So it was kind of funny, man. So yeah, that's how long I've been doing it. Kicked off Spider Squirrel, like, what was it, 2000? Dude, I don't know. It was a 2011. No, it feels like it. I think I started writing it in 2011, but just about 4 years ago, I launched the first issue of Spider Squirrel, and it's been gangbusters ever since. Been having a blast, man. I got a whole library.
That is a very kick-ass and interesting start. Like, yes.
Crazy. I didn't do it conventionally, and I don't think I do anything conventionally. So that's kind of my flair, I guess. Is yeah, because I mean, technically, I guess with the whole thing with Image, and that was fun. It was a fun experience, but uh, the hiatus between that and WatchGuard, and then realizing I didn't have an audience to sell this book to anyway, and so I built an audience with a bunch of gamers, and so the gamers came over in droves, and a lot of them are still reading my books. In fact, there's about 3 that I know of off the top of my head who are like, they're dedicated. They buy every single thing that I release, which is just I'm very grateful. So it's humbling.
Can people get your comics in comic shops? Do you distribute through Diamond?
I don't distribute through Diamond. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and Pat Shand and I have been, and Anthony Stokes, we've been on panels together talking about this very thing. But I mean, there's such a the the distribution market is antiquated. It is so not kept up with comics, and I I'll be honest with you, it's probably easier for me to pick up the phone and call a comic shop and sell to them directly than it is to get through Diamond. And so there are three, to answer the question more directly, I have three comic shops that definitely buy my books and distribute them. So there's one in Tennessee. I got one here locally that actually buys store exclusive covers. So they pay for extra to get the exclusive covers. And then there's one up in New England. Epicos down in Tennessee, Gateway Comics here in Fredericksburg, and Woodbridge, Virginia. And then is it White Rabbit? I'm gonna shoot myself for not remember their name. I'm sorry, I've been traveling, so my brain's a little fried. But yeah, up in Massachusetts, those guys. So it's great. So I do have some shops. Yeah.
I'm really surprised that indie comics hasn't had like the image moment, like a bunch of indie comics creators all come together to figure out the Diamond distributor, you know?
Yeah, I think part of that is just totally my opinion. And having talked to other creators, again, I talk to Pat all the time. Charlie Sticky and I talk offline. Kat Calamia, Phil. We all have different conversations. Daniel Calvin's been in part of those conversations. Stokes, myself, Chris Moses. We've all talked about stuff like this, and there's, I think the biggest reason there hasn't been this like bolt running together of creators, indie creators, is because there isn't a Diamond is not a value to anybody. It's Diamond is a Google or Facebook ad anymore because you got to pay to play, and you're not going to make a lot of money off of it. I might even lose money if I distribute my books through Diamond because it's just they take such a big cut, and they don't. And while they distribute a ton of my books out there, that's great. Then I also got to deal with returns. I got to deal with all this other stuff that comes in. I have distributed one of my books through Diamond before, my gaming book, through Alliance, which is their gaming division. And I dealt with that, and I'll tell you what, I make more money on Amazon than I do with Diamond, and I sell more on Amazon than I do with Diamond with that book. So I just don't. And I'm sorry, I feel bad for Diamond, but I don't know what their value is to me. Just I don't. I'd rather sell my website. I'd rather sell them to conventions. I can rather sell them face to face. I'd rather call up comic stores and, hey, you want to buy my book? You know, I don't know. I'm actually working on something in the back end with my website to give a wholesale discount to stores that register, and then I'll be able to give them a specific code that they can use to log in and buy at a wholesale discount. So I'll discount directly to them rather than discount to Diamond, and then I'll just ship it myself. So to be honest with you, I think the middleman's dead. Long live the middleman, right?
Yeah, yeah. What's the elevator pitch for Trash Panda? No, not Trash Panda. Spider Squirrel. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. It's been a long week for both of us, dude. I know we've been chatting. So Spider Squirrel and Trash Panda, it's a buddy cop action adventure. It kind of brings back the wahaha kind of theme to comics. It absolutely does not take itself seriously in so many ways. It's meant to be that fun. Pick it up and just enjoy the heck out of it, and then put it down and kind of giggle with scenes in your head later, or whatever. That's it in a nutshell. We're actually done something really fun with. I'm having my letterer HDE. He said something in one of our chats. He said because I'm writing volume 2 now, and he says, man, hey, thanks. He just wrapped up doing a 4-page anthology for Pots and Panels. Spider Squirrel and Trash Panda are going to be in the Pots and Panels anthology, for those who didn't know. And HDE lettered it, and he says, man, now I can cross off weaponized sushi off my comics bucket list of the books I've lettered. He said, now I want to do this. And he rattled out this random thing. And I was like, it's funny you say. And I made that the very first page of the next volume. So this wild ass hair of an idea that he threw out there, I actually wrote it into the book. So we're going to go into space and have a blast.
Did you and Travis Gibbs put out a book recently, right?
So Travis did write a book for me. It hasn't been published yet. But Travis, we're good friends. We work together quite a bit, or talk together quite a bit. that book, I'd love to get it out in 2025. I had him write it as an OGN, but it's probably going to be broken, original graphic novel, but it'll probably be broken up into floppies, as it were, because it's a little easier to fund, and people are more less risk averse to buying into a floppy than they are to an OGN, because it's a big price point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote 100 pages. So we get 100 pages of story, and it's a really fun book. It's actually, here's your full circle moment. The book that I wrote back in '97, that main character has been that one character that's been just like plucking at the back of my head for a decade and a half to, well, 2 decades plus, about getting him back out in front of people. One of my original characters, one of my original creations, I designed him. Well, designed his original look. Sean Isaacs, from Green Arrow and Fantastic Four. You guys know Sean. He actually did the redesign for me. That character Asa is what I gave to Travis. I said, "Hey, here," because he got to explore like religion, and the thematics of like man versus man versus nature, man versus God, whatever, right? Tech versus religion. So he kind of take those meta themes and kind of put it in this really cool story. So yeah, he had fun with it.
The reason I was asking is when I think I interviewed Travis earlier this year, he brought it up, and I was just wondering
Yeah,
where it was at.
yeah, it's fully scripted. It's on me. At this point, I've been trying to get a good pace going. We also, I split up. As a lot of people know, I split up Zion Studios and Blind Squirrel. So I'm taking the more traditional comic books. So Spider Squirrel, Trash Panda, God Quest, those kinds of things. Stray from Vito Del Santi is coming over to Zion, or Blind Squirrel. Those are all going to go Blind Squirrel, and then like Yakuza and our mature books. So it's going to be kind of like a DC Vertigo split, but actually like in reverse. So Blind Squirrel is going to be the imprint under Zion. Zion's going to publish all of my non-traditional comics and non-comics works, and then Blind Squirrel will be kind of the superhero, more traditional stuff. It's fun.
Yeah,
So,
it definitely sounds fun. I'm gonna have to look up some of your books. Just the names are awesome.
oh, thank you. We got so Blue Chip and the new Teen Force 5 is coming out early 2025. That'll be out. We're working on finishing up God Quest 3, issue 3. American Yakuza 3 is finished, and we're already started on, actually 4 is penciled and inked, and we're starting on 5. So, but I just delivered 2, so I'm actually way ahead on that book. So look for more of that coming. What else? The Fundamentals. I got a Sean Isaacs cover, which is great. I love it. That book is 60% complete. That's a one shot. And then we're wrapping up another book called Alpha Elite. It's a he's a superhero, super influencer, social media themed, kind of a hero, almost like a Booster Gold. But and I think Dan Jurgens did something like this with Booster, turning him into like a NASCAR social media kind of a guy. Not doing the NASCAR thing, but definitely doing the, hey, let's post everything I do, kind of thing. That guy's a jackass, and he's a lot of fun. He's one of those. Imagine if Superman was like Booster Gold had Superman's powers and cared even less than Booster Gold.
Yes.
That's kind of this guy. He's a jackass, and you're gonna love to hate him. And I think he's just gonna be really obnoxious and really fun. So I think you guys are gonna like. That's gonna be a one shot as well. So we got a bunch of books in the hopper. Oh, and
What if,
Rook's coming out. Rook's done. It's been done for months. I want to get it on Kickstarter, so that's coming next.
okay. What advice would you give to new creators out there?
Make something. I think that's the biggest thing. It's funny. I see stuff. I get asked that question at cons all the time too, in panels. Um, yeah, the biggest thing is just make something. It doesn't. Here's the thing. Like, don't wait for your best work because you'll never do anything. Don't put out your crappiest work either. Like, put out a refined, good quality work. Then take the feedback. Give away copies to reviewers. Let them, even if it's the worst review you're going to get. That's so what? It's a review. It's publicity,
Mhm.
and you can take the feedback, and if you can take yourself out of take the subject out of it and just look at it objectively. What are they saying that's of value? Distill that down, and then make some fixes, and then keep going. Like, that's really the biggest thing I can tell you is just don't stop making stuff.
dead or alive, who would be your dream team to make a comic book with? Money
Oh,
is
shit.
not money is not a problem.
Jesus. Okay. So, God, does it have to be just one team? I got these cadres like so we've become friends with Howard Chaykin over the last couple years. Have dinner with him every year at Baltimore now, and love the man. And I would even if he just did a cover, but I'd love to do a whole book with Howard. I think it'd be so badass to do like a Zion Studios, mature audiences, some kind of like just wicked book. I'd love to have Jimmy write it. We were talking about Jimmy Palmiotti earlier before we started recording. So I met Jimmy last year. We were on a panel together, and I was like, and I just read 21 Down. I don't know if you guys have read that, the full volume, all 13 issues, but they just re-released that on Kickstarter. I got it, read it, freaking loved it. And I was like, I would love to have Jimmy write this gritty, grounded, down to earth thing. Have Chaykin do the art. Gotta have a Walter Simonson variant cover somewhere along the way. I don't know, man. I can go nuts with this. This is crazy. John Rock, who I already worked with on Yakuza, would color the whole thing. My letterer, it's too many good letterers. I'd love to just give it to Nate Picos. Just, let Nate letter this thing, right? So Blambot himself. That's I'll just spew that one out. There's a million I could put out there. I could have said Gail Simone. I could have said Mark Brooks for covers. I could have said any number of things, but that'd be too damn long. We don't have enough time. I have too many people I love. Dean Haspel. I'm working with Dean already on stuff. I'm actually planning on getting some more variants from Dean. He's a friend. My brother, love that guy. He's another person I'd love to do more with, but we did Chest Face together, so I kind of didn't figure that already. I'll shut up because I can keep talking about that. There's just so many people I'd love to work with.
So, what social medias are you on nowadays? Where can people find you?
So I'm all over. I am on the Twitter. I don't call it X because I'm old, but and X is just a stupid name for anything. So I'm on Twitter at Charlie McElvy. I'm on Instagram at charlie.mckelvy because Meta screwed up and lost my account and I can't get back in. I'm on Facebook with both my personal stuff as well as Spider Squirrel and the WatchGuard and Zion Studios and Blind Squirrel all have their own pages. I'm on the Skies of Blue. Yes, I'm on Blue Sky. Pretty easy to find there. It's Charlie McElvy. You'll find me pretty easily there. And then what am I missing? Of course, I'm on Threads because I'm on IG. I'm not on Truth Media. Sorry.
TikTok?
Oh, I am on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok because I'm old. So yeah, you can tag me on TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok. I do post infrequently, usually during a campaign. That's usually my most common time to post anything. So, and I do all the reels and stuff like that. So.
Do you have any cons planned for this year or the beginning of next year?
Yeah, so I'll be a guest at Hampton Comic-Con in Hampton, Virginia. So that's an incredible conventions show. I love those guys. They put on great shows. So I'll be at Hampton Comic-Con in February. It's the end of February. That's the only one confirmed. Pretty much a guarantee I'll be at Baltimore next year. Again, all 3 days. Debating GalaxyCon. It's a 4-day show this year, which I have not done a 4-day show yet, although it's only an hour from my house. So GalaxyCon Richmond specifically, sorry. So I may do GalaxyCon. We'll see about that. I haven't signed up yet. I want to do Heroes. I haven't done Heroes. It's one of my OG cons. I haven't done Heroes honestly, I haven't done it since the year after Mike Ringo died. So gosh, that's been way too long. 17 years, I guess. So I haven't done Heroes, not because Mike passed, but it was just coincidence. That was the last year that I went. And then there's a couple others that I really love. I do the local stores, the local cons, Fredericksburg Comic Con, which is also an incredible convention show, and a few others. So I don't have a whole lot on the docket yet. That's actually what I'll probably be doing next weekend while I'm taking a turkey coma. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, follow my social media and I'll announce where I'm going to be when I'm going to be there.
Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, I'm just grateful. Thanks for letting me hop on, man. I appreciate you inviting me, and I'm thankful for everybody who's giving a crap enough to listen for 20 minutes or whatever it's been. And I'm really grateful for everybody who backs my books or gives them a read and give them a read and give them a shot. Thank you. Even if you don't like them, I appreciate it. It's always good to have. It's great to have such a nice fan base that again, even if they don't like what you do, they appreciate what we put into it, and that's always good. So thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comic Chat Authority? Oh, come on, subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.